So we got a very, very controversial video topic. I don't think there's any other two topics that go together that could create more controversy than racism and speciesism. And the reason for that is just because they both really go hand in hand, and a lot of people get caught up on trying to determine whether or not one is more important than the other, or which one is more important than the other, instead of just both issues are issues that need to be fought against. The other night, I tuned into a live stream by Badass Vegan and Vegan Street Fair CEO, and they were discussing what was going on in the Black Lives Matter movement and all the protests and, just a lot of things that had to do with the Black community and also the vegan community as well. So they ended up calling out Gary Yourofsky for something that I thought was very unnecessary. I'm not going to tell you anymore. I'm just going to show you the clip from here and let you form your own opinion on this one.
Was Gary Yourofsky too harsh in his approach? I don't think he was harsh at all, to be honest. Like, if you really watch Gary's...
fuck him. Sorry.
I don't know him, though.
So she just puts it out there just right away, F Gary, F everything he's done for animals, just F all of it, because all of that isn't useful as well, And I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let her explain her reason for why she doesn't like Gary.
Gary Yourofsky does not have prejudice. People are not going to like what we're going to say here.
Just say
This
it.
is what
Just
I'm going to say it. I just said it like 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, but you have to do your own research and you have to be critical of people. You have to be critical of people because you cannot take what one incident, what they do one time, you can't take that at face value. You have to understand that people have a whole trajectory of their journey and a whole library of videos and fucking articles that they put out.
True.
And Gary Yourofsky has on a couple of occasions. And Gary, if you're watching, come talk to somebody.
I doubt if he's watching us.
I'm sure somebody's gonna send it to him. Like you have fucked up, and you haven't addressed certain issues in Black and brown communities specifically that deal with issues of justice. So that's my take. I just don't fucks with him.
Yeah, that's her reason. And I'm going to say this as someone who has experienced racism firsthand multiple times by different white people. Not everyone has to fight against racism just because it's trending all of a sudden. Because all the people who are doing it now aren't going to be doing it a couple of weeks from now. Just like those same people who cried about the Australia fires aren't crying about the Australia fires now, because once the news stops promoting all of this stuff, it just doesn't exist anymore. We don't care about the issues once they leave our image. So the point is, not everyone out there, including other Black people, have to fight for this movement in order to receive eligibility. I thought it was very disrespectful to the vegan movement alone to trash Gary like that, because just of how much he's accomplished and how much people he has helped with his voice, how much animals he has helped with his voice. So I'm going to tell you about some of his accomplishments, and you can determine who you want to side with in this situation. So I wrote down a list of things that Gary has done for the animals that has gotten him into quite some trouble, and I want you to really just form your opinion around, is this someone who you should be bashing in the vegan community or not? So here we go, and listen closely. On March 30, 1997, Gary liberated 1,542 mink from a fur farm in Ontario. As a result, he served 77 days in jail before being deported back to America from Ontario. Now, that's just the first one. I want to ask John Lewis and the CEO of Vegan Street Fair, the people who called him out on being racist for not calling out racist issues. I want to know, how many days have you served in jail for the Black community? Because you love it so much. You act like you love it so much, yet you guys stood on a live stream for 5 hours just talking about it. Just talking about how much you love it, not showing us how much you love it, just talking about it, just sitting back and showing you how much you love it. But you have the nerve to call out someone like this, a vegan figure in a vegan community like this, who has really contributed a lot and gone through a lot. And not to mention that this next part I'm going to read, Gary has actually been a victim of police brutality himself. So listen to this. In September 1998, Gary was actually illegally arrested for disobeying a cop's order during a peaceful protest. So they took him to jail illegally because he really didn't do anything wrong. He didn't break any laws at all. He just disobeyed a cop's order. And you really can't, you have your rights. You can't arrest someone just for disobeying your order as a cop. A cop tells you to strip naked. You don't have to do that. So he's been a victim of these things himself, just being an animal rights activist, and he's white. So what does that tell you? This isn't only, a black issue. Cops are against people who want justice, whether it's for animals or black people. So we shouldn't be saying, oh, he has to do this, he has to do that. Gary Yourofsky receives enough crap from the meteors and the media who wants to say he's some terrorist or someone bad. But he's a genuinely nice guy. He's given nearly 3,000 lectures and speeches, which is very inspiring to me. And if there's any animal rights activist I would want to be like, it would be to be like Gary, if I had to be honest. So the point wasn't to really compare John Lewis, a badass vegan, or CEO of Vegan Street Fair, to Gary Yourofsky. I think he's just on a different level than most people out there. But it's just saying, you can't talk about someone like that if your game is not stepped up to that level, because it's really not. And for you to just trash someone like that, it's like this trend is getting to our heads. And it's not gonna last forever. You don't need all these people to be posting online and things for us to be fighting for our rights, because we're gonna be fighting for them regardless. This trend is helpful and all, but we don't need it to mix up our brains and get us confused on what certain people are doing it for. We're trying to create this idea that everyone who is vegan has to fight against racism all of a sudden. They're too busy fighting for animal rights, because animals don't have a voice. At least we have a voice, and we have enough people to back us up. But when is animal rights going to become the trend? So, again, this is a very sensitive topic to touch on, and I understand why they kind of went to that level to, I guess say he's prejudiced, I understand it, but someone like him, you should really do your research on his accomplishments and what he has done for animals, because you're not going to find many more people like him. And he's gone, and he's basically retired. I heard that he recently came out of retirement. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but we're probably not going to have any animal rights activists like him for a while. Most people are just so invested in their social media platforms and things like that social activism is dying out. And, I think it's great to do both. So that's why Gary Yourofsky is just a big inspiration to me as a black vegan animal rights activist. So, yeah, I don't think race plays a role in when it comes to saving animals. It's about the animals. It has nothing to do with humans. Humans don't know that we're over here killing each other just because one person is another skin color. Animals don't know that. So why should they be placed in this, position where we have to choose which one we want to say is more important? That's exactly where speciesism and racism begins. So it's kind of what I wanted to really talk about. Let me know your thoughts down below. Give this video a like and check out the other videos on the channel. Hope everyone's staying safe from the psychos, the looting, and all that stuff, staying out of trouble, and staying safe from this virus that still not sure if it really does exist. But anyways, peace out, and let me know what you think.